Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Rengoku, having soulmates. It was something that was intimate. He knew, but he never really had the time to think about it, or to see who his own soulmate was. He certainly knew that you existed somewhere, but to him, he didn't really need to investigate further than that. With all the things that he had to take care of, he felt as though he had no time to look forward to a love life. And wouldn't it be cruel to bring you into one when he had so much danger in his own job and could die at any moment? He was strong, yes, determined too, but he could not guarantee his own life, and he could not guarantee your happiness, which is why he avoided this altogether. He knew it must be cruel to leave someone without a soulmate, but surely it would be happier than whatever it was that he would bring you into inevitably if you were to be with him. Little did he know that being soulmates was not something that he chose. The universe did. And the universe did this because the two of you would inevitably meet. You would be together, no matter what happens. And as it turns out, the further he thinks he's drifting away from you, the closer he's getting, ironically enough. And so, soon enough, the two of you are actually getting closer and closer until he meets you one day, unknowing of what he's about to get into. It turns out you're working under Shinobu, and you're a medic, and he felt a little bit under the weather for some strange reasons, so he went over to her. And since she was away, you had been the one to treat him. But when your hand touched his skin, the two of you stared at one another as a strange feeling bloomed, enough for the two of you to acknowledge it. You must be... Well, I suppose there's no hiding it. It's true. I'm your soulmate. I didn't expect to meet you at all, actually. I thought that I wouldn't be able to see my own soulmate at all. You laughed softly, nodding. Well, I thought the same. You know, I've tried to contact you, in a way, but I wasn't even able to figure out who you were or anything about you at all. It's like you weren't trying to connect to our bond, but I'm sure that's not the case, so I'm glad that I saw you now. I didn't expect that my soulmate would be a Hashira, but you know, the universe works in strange ways. He chuckled softly at that, because the universe does work in strange ways. He never expected to meet you. He tried very hard to leave you far away because he's sure that his soulmate would be someone amazing. Because the universe surely would pick the right person for him. And it did. But it was cruel that you'd be stuck with someone who had his life in danger so often. He did not want to confine you to such a cruel fate. And yet, with that smile of your own, and the way you treated him and took care of him, he knew he was utterly doomed. Because now that he saw you and heard your voice, there was no way in hell that he was leaving you at all. He just couldn't. You were too good to be true. And now that you were true, and that he was definitely able to see you, he knew he was not leaving anytime soon. And that's precisely why he found himself meeting you once, and then more than that, seeing you weekly until Shinobu herself had to intervene, telling him not to distract you from your work. But he found himself unable to stop. And so at one point, you even started going out on dates. And the first time that you go on a date, you look utterly stunning, that he finds himself speechless. Rengoku of all people. Are you okay? You've been staring for a while now. Is everything alright? Yes. Don't worry, you just look a little bit too stunning. What can I say? You laugh softly at that, and then you make a very brave move, tiptoeing and pressing a soft kiss to his cheek, smiling at the way red colors that. Perhaps it was too perfect that you had this life that you had, that boyfriend of yours, who was someone that was utterly unpredictable at times, with his excitement and his love. But if there was anything that you were able to predict, that no matter how much the two of you tried to avoid fate, it was inevitable, because your love was written in the stars. And so, as you continued on with your date, and he told you more about his past, and why you hadn't heard anything from your bond, you weren't even mad at him. You couldn't help but feel your heart soften, because wasn't it romantic and beautiful that the two of you were meant to be no matter what happened? And all this concern for you when you hadn't even seen you, it spoke volumes about how kind he was. But he also needed to understand that you were strong. You were not a victim in this circumstance. You knew how to fight for yourself, and you knew how to heal others and how to help. You would be with him through thick and thin, and you were unwilling to let anything come between you two. And as he had seen that determination in your eyes, he knew he was in for a ride, and a very fun one, mind you. I am glad I met you, Ayan. I truly am. And I am as well, Rengoku. I mean, imagine if all your effort had actually weighed to something and you hadn't met me. Wouldn't that have been horrible? He laughs, nodding. I guess you're right. It would have been horrible. But there's no need to worry about that. The two of us are together now, and nothing could ever pull us apart. Right? It's true. And I'm really glad that's the case. You mumble, and he wraps his arms around you, holding you close to him, as the two of you enjoy each other's warmth and closeness, all while looking up at the stars, admiring the beauty of destiny.